Can you hear me now?
Greetings, my beloved Japonator, and welcome to another glorious episode of a painting. As the Japonites assemble, we shall make sure the orientation is good. I shall descend into proper painting posture. Fix this shit.
Printer Bear is like, first two. not on my chat.
Haro, I am a first two.
First two. You guys came in at the exact same time. Oh, that's hilarious. Dude, those fucking snowflakes looked fake as fuck. You know? I got like a weird like Mandela, like reverse Mandela effect or some shit. Like I totally get where you're coming from, where you're like, has it always been like that? And I've just never noticed, or like have I just never experienced this yet? But like as far as my memory goes, I've never seen snow like this. And like, sure, I get that like snowflakes happen, like Stabaru-sama was saying, where it's like, you know, oh, it only happens at certain like, you know, rapid cooling and stuff like that. Like, but I don't know, they seemed a bit too, like they were all the same size. They were like roughly all the same size, and they were like quite thick. Snowflakes are like, they're a flake. Snowflakes are supposed to be just this like, you know, incredibly delicate, incredibly beautiful thing, like, you know, like a moment frozen in time, literally. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, those things look like cheap Walmart snowflakes that somebody threw out the back of an airplane, like, you know. But who knows? Who knows?
My instinct says it is a grabber, but who knows?
Right. Today we return to the Seppuku Forest.
As I descend into proper painting posture.
Ah! Oh!
That was a smooth stool. The stool is smooth. The stool is smooth. Let me see. Max Stonebarrow. Your time, not in my timeline. Your timeline is gay. Your perception of time is that of a faggot. Right. We return to the Seppuku Forest. I was thinking there, just as I sat down and looked at it, I was like, we put in some extra, like, we'll fill it up, you know, like maybe put a frog in somewhere, or fucking a monkey, perhaps. I'll try and, I might make this guy a bit bigger. I'll try and, I think I got the size right, though, for the distance, but I just fucked up the silhouette. The silhouette's a bit trash looking. But I'll try and fix that. Put more detail on the fallen guy. Render the katana a bit more. Fix this sword. And then I was thinking maybe try and put another fallen warrior, like lying up against this log or something. Maybe slumped over it. Or maybe a monkey smoking a pipe. I don't know. We shall see. I just stopped by to drop a snowflake in the chat. Have a great day, people. Much love, Max Stonebarrow.
Enjoy your day. Ah, Staburu Sama. Right. Let me see. Let me see. I do believe there is new musical. I do believe we have a new tuna. Still, I need to fix the orientation on this as well. My autistic side is kicking in big time. Okay. So I think it's obviously the canvas is a bit tilted, but then I get like I've got it on an angle, so there's always going to be a slight tilt in that. Do you know what I need to get? I need to get a level. I need to get a level and like glue it to the fucking arm thing, the phone arm thing that I have. I must get a river. Did you guys get that brand of sweets over in America? Revels. It's probably just in the UK or a European thing, but the ads for them used to be fucking hilarious. There was one where they were all doing Russian roulette, but it was like it was a white dude doing Russian roulette with a lot of like I think it was like Vietnamese guys or like Taiwanese guys, and instead of using basically it's a bag full of chocolate sweets, but they can be like biscuit, peanut, raisin, whole chocolate, or I think maybe there was one more, but it was like a mixed bag of chocolate treats. And you could kind of tell by the shape, but generally the whole idea of them was that they were all just balls of chocolate with different centers, so you never knew what you were going to get. Hence the whole Russian roulette thing. And it was one of the funniest ads I've ever seen. Like, and I don't like them. I remember buying Revels one time, and I was like, because like I don't like peanuts, I don't like chocolate raisins, like so I was like, but like the ad, it's just like it's like 90s and early 2000s marketing was so fucking good that like the ad it was genuinely funny, like because they just had a bag of Revels on the table instead of the gun, like, and they were like taking one. And coffee flavor was I think the fifth one. Those ones are quite nice. And so the white guy eats one, and he's like, biscuit, and they're all like, oh, and then like the guy across the table, who I think they're Vietnamese, and he eats one, and he's like, peanut, and fucking like, and they're all like, oh, like, the white guy takes another one, and he's like, raisin, and they're all like, oh, like it's a bad thing, and he's like, oh, I like raisins, and they're all like, oh, and fucking the Asian guy takes another one, and then he's trying not to break, he's trying not to show his disgust, and then he just goes and like folds and like starts spitting it up all over the place beside the table, and the white guy just goes, coffee. Like, it was a really funny ad, like obviously one of those that just sticks in your head because it's still in my head after all these years. But you just don't see shit like that anymore. You just don't see shit like that anymore. That's like genuinely really funny, and it's not like they're tricking you, into like buying. There's no like agenda behind it. They just make a funny ad to sell their chocolate treats. And like I'm totally okay with that. Like, make people laugh, which is a good thing. Like, I think making people laugh is like probably one of the most moral ways to like sell a product. You make them laugh, they buy the product. Now, obviously, you can make them laugh and the product is terrible. But like, I don't think someone who knows how to really make someone laugh could make a terrible product. Now, obviously, you could argue that like the guys who make the product and the guys who make the ad are two different people,
And you could like that could be a bad thing where like people are made to laugh, and then they buy this shit product like. But then you would just have a load of people that would be like, oh yeah, the ad's really funny, but like those things suck. Like I used to have it saved on my Instagram account for ages, where there was an ad for a European brand of beans. I think it was Heinz. I think it was Heinz beans, and it's one of the coolest things I've ever seen, and it was hilarious. It was like really high quality CGI, um, really high quality CGI, and it was a lot of astronauts on a moon, and on the moon, and well, you don't know if it's the moon, I suppose, but anyway, it's implied. It's a lot of astronauts on the moon, and this monster comes out of nowhere. Really cool looking monster, big armored troll looking thing with like 4 arms and 6 eyes. Just starts wrecking them Hulk style. Like he picks one of them up and fucking slams them, picks another one up, chucks him over his shoulder, and the astronaut furthest away is like doing that whole moon jump like sprint thing, trying to get away from him. And oh no, that's the second last one. The monster like runs and catches up with that guy and like fucking like shakes him and slams him in the ground and like is like starts grunting and looking around for any more of them. And the camera pans out, and there's another astronaut hiding behind a rock, and he's just he's just like he's trying to stay quiet, and then he farts, and it's one of them like 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 a trombone kind of thing, and he farts just as the monster gives up and starts to walk away. So the monster hears the fart and like turns around and is like, ugh! And the ad just ends, and then it just comes up with Heinz beans, like it's an ad for beans. Like it's the same thing. I remember when I saw that, I was pissing myself laughing. Like I was just like, that's that's brilliant marketing. Like you lean into the whole stereotype of like beans make you fart and all this shit. Like it's like. And it was a really high quality, 30, 40 seconds of like really good looking CGI. Like it was like, wasn't real. It was realistic, but it didn't go for realism, because like the proportions were kind of chunky and it was kind of cartoony. And the monster was clearly like, very fantastical and stuff like that. Like, but it was really cool. Like, it's probably another sign of like the dying of an empire or like culture going fucking bad or whatever is when like ads are just like utter trash. Like, do you know what I mean? Like I can't remember the last time I saw an ad that actually like held my attention or made me laugh or and like don't get me wrong, I'm always like I'm only ever on the internet. I don't watch television, so it's not like I see ads half as much as I used to. But I can only imagine that it's worse now. Maybe I'm wrong, because I checked out from mainstream media like so long ago. Like, but it's one of those things where you're just like, if the marketing tactics become so like some of the ads I do see on the internet are so fucking cringe. Like they're so they're childish in a really unappealing way. Do you know what I mean? It's not childish fun or childish funny or childish endearing. It's childish stupid. It's childish like detached from reality. Like it's just really terrible shite. Like I used to love the Trunk Monkey ads back in the early 2000s. I forgot what they were advertising, but they were always amusing. Trunk Monkey. Even the name of that brand is hilarious. Trunk Monkey. One of the like back in the day when I started like trying to log on and fucking watch UFC and stuff like that, I'd see a lot of American ads, and you guys had some legit really funny ads, like really funny ads. Actually, do you know what? Do you know what ads were okay up until recently, and they've kind of gone a bit shit? Was the Old Spice ads. One of the funniest things I ever seen was that Old Spice ad was like the black dude. I was like,
I'm better looking than your boyfriend. I'm wearing a shirt. I'm doing this. I'm on a horse. You know, like the delivery and like the stuff that was happening on screen and all, like it's just. And then the Terry Crews one, where it was like flex, muscle, flex, and like was playing all the instruments by tensing individual muscle group. It was like a pair of cymbals and a drum and a horn and shit and all, like, and it was an ad for Old Spice. This shit was funny, man. Like, my granddad used to use Old Spice. Shit smells good. It does have a very unique scent. Be funny if you found out it was made out of, like, you know, ambergris mixed with fucking petrol or something. Like the smell of a sailor. Like, right. Let's see if I can fucking where's this new tune? Shinda Niku, Dead Meat. Nice. Alright, I'll play the Painting Goo tune and then I'll throw that on. Hold on, I throw the new music into it. Now that I can just throw it all into that saved messages thing, it's grand. Save to saved messages. Save to saved messages. Oh, excuse me. Let me see. I can't believe Sonia thinks Mighty Bitey is cringe. What a cringe thing to say. I hope you slap the shit over for that one. Obviously, I'm joking. Or am I? Say, it depends on what kind of slap you're talking about. It's like these fucking like, I'd never hit a woman. It's like, I slap bitches all the time, just in a way they like. Where's Painting Goo? Where's Painting Goo? Emperor no CY. Oh fuck. I think part of me, I was making dinner there the other day, and I was just like pondering stuff in the kitchen while the food was cooking, and part of me is like slowly, I'm gonna start doing the symmetricals again, like as much as I can every week, because that I used to do one symmetrical a week, and that's how like all of this started back like in 2020 during COVID, like, or just before COVID. No, it was during COVID, yeah. I'm gonna start doing like a symmetrical a week again, as well as the stream, and like try and get back into my routine and stuff. Because I've spent the last couple of weeks kind of stressed out, just waiting on things to take over, because I didn't want to. I had so many things like up in the clouds and so many wheels turning, that part of me was like, I don't want to keep making moves because I've already got so many plates spinning. So I was kind of like, okay, there's a lot of shit up in the air right now, so I'm just gonna like baby step it and like wait for things to happen. But like at least half of the shit that I'm waiting on is taking so long that I'm just like, oh fuck, like I can't just like, I don't want to be stagnant, like, you know. So I'm gonna start doing the symmetricals more often. I'll drop them in the Painting Goo chat as well, and obviously you'll see them on my socials and stuff. And I think that'll be what gets me back into like not this, you know, because in a lot of ways Painting Goo has kind of like taken over my art. Not so much in the past couple of months, because I've also got the community stuff, but because I've got Painting Goo and the fucking community stuff, and you know, the like my sketching and my world building and character design and just general like art practice has kind of like slowed down, which is not necessarily a bad thing, like that your focus is in certain areas, you know, and not in others. But I definitely felt that the other day when I was in the kitchen, just like cooking food, where I was like,
Um, the one of the symmetricals that I had sitting in the barbers around the corner. When I first moved here, I went to multiple businesses and asked them if they'd let me put some of my work up, and like 3 or 4 of them did, but then like 3 of them like didn't really work out, and only one of them really worked out, and I didn't even get any calls from her or anything like. But the lads in the lads in the barbers kept it up on their wall for like I think like the last like 3 years or something. Like fair play to them. Like, fucking it was this one. It was gas. It was all covered in dust and shit. I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can see the full thing. Yeah. Fucking. I call this one Chocolate Fury. And I did a digital black version of it and put it on a hoodie. I think it's still up on my fucking on my Teespring account or something like. But yeah, this was like the last symmetrical that I did that I framed and like put up for sale in this style. And then the next one I did after that was a bigger one on canvas, and your man Lee Stacks, I think it's your man Stacks Farmstead that wants to get on onto his stream. He bought it for like 400 quid, like, and that was like that was like a progression point where like it was my first one on canvas, and like the fact that my first one on canvas sold, I was like, shit, that's awesome and all, like, so I want to get back to that now. I want to get back to doing like these like slick, like that thing I did on the wall here in the room. It's like actually on the wall. I just did it with house paint. I haven't touched it in months, and like it's not even finished. And people were like, "Dude, that's awesome looking!" Like, and I'm such a retard like that, where I'm always worried about like how am I gonna make money and what am I gonna do, and it's always the same thing where it's like, I need to stop worrying about or focusing on how am I going to make money, and like keep doing what I feel intuitively is like just like really cool looking. And I think it'd be savage if I just did that whole wall in like a real symmetrical, succinct, framed way. And it's like a pale green and like a dark, like a mid green, and I think kind of looks like a anchor with a big booty. But yeah, there's a lot of wheels turning the last few months. I weighed myself this morning, and so like when I gave up smoking like completely, went cold turkey off everything there last year. For like a month, I put on like 20 pounds, 22 pounds in like 3 weeks or something. And now I've lost all of that and more. So I used to be like 11 stone, 8 pounds. And now I'm like 11.4. So I weigh less than I did before I put the weight on, like. And it's annoying me. Because it's entirely my own fault, like, It's just one of those things where it's like you got so many plates spinning, but you're also trying to like build yourself to be stronger and more disciplined and shit. At the same time, like doing all this stuff, and it's like I'm not managing my life very well the past while, Been a lot of stress and weird shit going on. Like I went to this like event in a bar in Kilkenny there yesterday, and it was really good. Your man who had like hosted the event, or like was doing the presentation, this guy called Jamie, and he's basically trying to figure out how to in a purely legal sense tackle the government in terms of corruption and fraud and all this crap that's going on with like just like the country's in bits. Do you know what I mean? Like the fact that Conor McGregor was like, I'll be president, and then quickly learned that like if you're not one of them, there's no hope because of the way
Like we don't have a Bill of Rights. We've no rights. Like it's actually hilarious. Like when you lay it out, like it's like the courts decide if your rights have been infringed or not. But there's nowhere in our constitution is a list of the rights laid out. So it's like the courts decide if your rights have been, if your rights have been infringed or not. Okay, well, what are my rights? Just silence. Like, it's kind of like that bitch in the fucking that your man Holly was talking to, and he's like, "Can men get pregnant?" And she's like, "Well, I think that," and she never answers the question. She just keeps talking. She just keeps deflecting, and accusing him of like trying to use politically charged language and shit. It's exactly the same. Our whole government is structured like that for the past 88 years, ever since the just after the 1916 rise, and like there was like a fucking there was like a declaration of the Republic of Ireland, and the Irish Constitution and all this stuff, and all like there's no Bill of Rights, but it was decreed through like contract that like the fucking courts decide whether or not your rights have been infringed upon. So like it's like turning around to them. It's like if we're Hawley and we're turning around to that fucking stupid cunt government, and you're like, so what am I? So what rights do we have as a Republic of Ireland in quotes? And they just keep saying, well, the courts decide whether or not your rights have been infringed upon. Yeah, but what are our rights? Like, where's the bill? Like, what rights do we have? Well, the courts decide. Well, if it's like it's utter fucking nonsense. Which is like, when you think about it, like when you realize how fucked it is, and in what way it's fucked, and it's so obvious that it's just one of those things where a bunch of snake oil salesmen just tricked the public into another scam and stuff like that. It's really easy to see how things have gotten this bad in the past like 80 odd years, where it's just like, you could say that like, in the 90s, like America was probably the same. Like, everybody says that on the internet. It's like, oh, we peaked in the 90s. There was a semblance. There was a kind of like there was at least an aura in general in the West, in Europe and in America, where things were good and things were generally peaceful. And like, sure, World War II was long ago, and the Nazis were defeated, and we're all good. Like, the Russians and the towelheads in the East are a bit like, fighty. They're a bit fighty, and they're fucking. You could like say all sorts about the Chinese Communist Party and stuff like that. Like, but in general in the West, it was just relatively calm and fruitful and productive, and people were happy, and the nuclear family was still a thing, and all of these things. Like, a lot of people still believed in God and so on and so forth. And then like right around the 2000s, right around when the Twin Towers fell, because I remember seeing that at home in my sitting room. I was like fucking, well, it was 2001, so it was 25 years ago. I'm 34, so I was 9 or 10 or something, like. And I remember just coming downstairs like in the middle of the day, like, it was bright out, and my dad was just standing in the sitting room, like, flicking from channel to channel, and it was like one of those things that was on every channel, even if the channel wasn't a news channel. It was just like breaking. The World Trade Center has been, attacked by terrorists and all this stuff. Like, and back then you're like, oh my God, this really tragic thing has happened. And then like now I'm like, sure, news is news, but why was that like so? Like, why did the Irish give a fuck? Like, sure, we have a good relationship with America and all, but like, if 2 of your buildings gets attacked by terrorists, what the fuck has it got to do with us? Like, why are our news channels being like, fear, terror, oh my God, terrorists, oh, Saddam Hussein, fucking Muslims, oh, death, like, and you're just like, looking back on it now, obviously with the 2020 vision of hindsight, you're like, it's all just this like
this forced trauma bonding event with a grand deception and lie. And well, not everybody, but most people fell for it and were like, oh, this is terrible, and like things are going to be bad now, and all this fucking shit. Like, and then look at where we are now, like, you know, like the most horrendous shit is going on, but it's also so utterly nonsensical and ludicrous that it's funny. Like, a lot of the shit I see is like very dark, but there is an element of humor to it. Like, um, they're uninspired and off base. Yeah, that's a good way to say it. That's a good way to say it. That the ads these days are uninspired and off base. Used to love the Terry Crews ad and other black guy in those Old Spice ads. They're so funny, man. So funny. A very cringe take on her part. Yeah, I mean, she can't even admit that it's hilarious. 2 floggings of a salmon for the female. I'll slap her with a salmon if she says it again. She's confusing cringe with derp. It is like it's such a fun song. Like, it has that like childish energy to it and all. Like, you know, like the way it starts off and all. Like, it's like so sinister and stuff. Like, the last thing you want is, but it's like it's called Mighty Bitey, and like it's so funny. Like, and yet she knows derp. Our male Maine Coon is the definition of derp. I like Zeus sounds hilarious. Sounds delicious. Yeah, like Chocolate Fury is the reason why it's 2 different tones of like brown and then like a deep orange is because when I was designing it and then I was picking the colors, what came into my mind was I don't know if you guys have them over there. It's probably a European thing as well. But we have a brand of chocolate called Terry's Chocolate Orange, and it's exactly what it says on the tin. Like, you get a little blue box, and it's inside it is a tin foil wrapped. It's wrapped in orange tin foil, and it's in the shape of an orange. But they're really cool because like you just like give it a whack and it like opens like a flower, you know, in all these orange segments and stuff. And it's just milk chocolate with a hint of orange zest or whatever. And it's one of my favorite things. Like, fucking delicious. I've always loved them. They're incredible. Like, but at the time, like, I was just like, what's one of my favorite things and all, like, and I was like, yeah, Terry's Chocolate Orange. So I was like, so I'm gonna make it chocolate and orange and all, like, and then I ended up calling it Chocolate Fury, like, you know, because it looks like an angry face, you know. And that was the last one that I did on the foam boards and put in a frame. And and it was like weeks or months before I moved here with Emma. And then when I got here, I did like a watercolor one, and then the frames I had were shit and they didn't have a plastic cover. And then that's when I decided that I just like, okay, I have a bit of money on me right now, and I just bought my first deep canvas and did the biggest one I'd done at that point. And I can't even remember remember what I called it. But it was like this big orange and blue and green, you know, abstract flower looking thing. But then I like did a jet black background, like a matte jet black background on it with these kind of like steel spikes framing it. And the idea was like, you know, that modern industrial life has like caged nature kind of thing, but obviously you can't cage nature. Like, ultimately, you know, eventually nature finds a way and kind of thing. And it was, yeah, like the day I put it up on Instagram, your man Lee was like, how much do you want for that? I want that and all, like. And fair play to him. He ended up paying me extra because one of the payments got delayed by a week or something. Like, he was really cool about it. And I'll never forget that. Like, he sent me a photo of it when it got to him. You guys should have seen the fucking box I threw together to put it in. Like, I literally took like all the excess cardboard that I had lying around the house and like cut it into shapes and panels and just like used duct tape to make a box to put it in to ship it to him. And oh yeah, one of the reasons he gave me extra money actually was because it cost me so much to get it to him. I think it cost me like €79 to fucking send it to him. And like, sure, it was big and stuff, but like, it weighed nothing. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking yeah, like the postage here. The postage in Europe is fucking stupid. The tax you get on like things being sent around and stuff and all is absolutely crazy. Like, fucking 2 Acre and eBay knows all about that shit. Like, he sent me like markers and paints and stuff, and like the fucking things they were charging him, the prices that they were charging him, they'd be like, oh, if you want to send this to here, it's going to cost you this much and all. It's like, why? Like, it's a disincentive to do international trade on a personal level, you know, which I'm sure they have their fucking little goblin-esque reasons to do that, like, you know, their little fucking demonic ploys of like, you know, oh, people are just sending each other things in the mail. How do we capitalize on that? Like, you know, it's like they're fucking the disgusting parasites that exist in today's world, to the degree that they exist. Like the fact that there is such a high quantity of disgusting parasitic humans alive right now, sucking all of our fucking energy and shit. And I know, you know, we all have free will. We have to like raise our awareness, as your man from that thing yesterday was saying. You have to raise your awareness, raise your consciousness to the degree that you realize that you have free will, and if you make different choices, then there's nothing they can do. When you realize that you can choose to stop giving them your power, like, you know, you can choose to stop giving them your energy, and then they either freak out and fuck off, or they get really angry and, you know, blow their own cover, or they die because they don't have anything to feed off of anymore. Which, you know, is really cool that you can just like realize that and behave in a different manner, and then the evil, like it's like the barnacles just fall off the ship, you know, instead of you having to spend months like scraping it and all. It's like you just reach that level of awareness and you just turn off their food, and that like they just like, you know, they can't feed off you anymore because you're conscious of it, like, you know, which is an incredibly cool fucking thing. Like you know, you could easily compare that to magic, like. But it's incredibly frustrating, you know. It's incredibly frustrating that you can't just kill these fuckers, because it would, like, and then, like, you know, if something is really difficult to do, it's probably worth doing or something. You know, you have all these things where it's like if it was easy, then you wouldn't be getting the benefits of how difficult it is, and so on and so forth. But quite like myself, I saw it in your man Jamie from that presentation yesterday at the Civic Revolution thing. He's been dealing with these guys in the courts and learning all this legalese bollocks and like what the Constitution actually means and all these fucking things, or what it doesn't mean rather. And he's visibly gaunt. You know, you think I look shit sometimes, where you can like see my cheekbones and stuff, and my eyes like seem a bit droopy because I'm like kind of fatigued a lot. This guy looks like he's actually been drained by a vampire. And that's kind of what it, like, that's the effect that these fuckers can have on you. Like, you know, if you have people in your life and people like in the greater realm that are like just like parasitically sucking off people and all, like, it has that effect on you, like, and it's incredibly frustrating, and it's a totally natural, you know, human thing to want to be like, I'm being predated upon, kill that fucking thing. But because of where we are now, like, obviously you don't want to, it would ultimately just be used against us, like Owen said, like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's going to become okay culturally and socially to hate Jews again, and we're getting there because the noticing and stuff like that, like, and there probably is going to be a group of people who try to like bring in the new neo-Nazis, like, do you know what I mean? It's like, they're gonna like a lot of people. You see a lot of people being like, the painter was right, and all this fucking shit. Like so, and it will be entertaining to watch how that goes down, you know. But I'll be taking no part in it. Like I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna engage in a battle where, like, you know, I'm fighting for someone else. The only time I ever want to fight is when it's for me and my kin, you know, like my actual kin. And it's fucking what's happening? I went to this. You'll probably be really interested in this, John. I went to this thing in Kilkenny yesterday in a bar restaurant. I can't remember the name of it, but it was this young fella called. I think he's around my age. Like I think he might be a few years older or a few years younger. And he's had three. The one I went to was the third one he's done in the past year or so. And basically, he's had his own experiences with the Irish courts because of the whole COVID scenario. He owned a small business, and he was in the courts trying to argue why he should be allowed to stay open and so on and so forth. And they fucking destroyed him, and he lost his business. So he educated himself on the Bunruch na hÉireann, which is our constitution, which is a fucking, it's absolute dog shit. And I kind of knew that before he like explained it in depth, because I actually have it here. I've had it here for a few years, and I've like flicked through it, and you instantly get the sense that it's just a pile of dog water that was like made by the English, like, you know. And see, one of the biggest reasons why Ireland is still so fucked is because the Irish tribalism has one major benefit and one major flaw, which is probably you could say about all tribalistic cultures. In times of great upheaval, we'd all come together, and taking on all the different Irish tribes is like almost impossible. We all know the land in different ways and stuff. Like, it's an incredible way to have like a naturally diverse variety of like, you know, dialects, accents, different ways of doing things. And it's one of those things where like you don't have to leave the island to feel a lot of the time like you've traveled to another country, because you could go from the north, you could go from the north to the Midlands, and like it feels completely different, and then you could go from the Midlands to the south, and again it feels completely different. So that doesn't mean that Irish people didn't travel. Obviously they did, but like it, there's not as much of an incentive for various reasons to like leave the island and never come back, because it has incredible natural abundance. The people are incredibly diverse, and there's all these tribes and stuff. Like there used to be like dozens of kings. There was like a king in every like region or whatever. Like, um, but the major downside to that is that in certain contexts, our own kin stab us in the back, like in the most horrific ways, you know. Like I wouldn't be surprised when Owen mentions that stuff of like, oh, they sold all their boats. I don't think it's that simple. Like, do you know what I mean? Because it's very simple. It's very similar to the whole thing with your man Eamon de Valera, and like when this like Republic of Ireland like charter or like contract was written. Um, the Irish people had a you know a contract or a bill or whatever you want to call it. They had an idea of what they wanted Ireland to be. And then just before, like literally like weeks or months before that was supposed to be enacted, a lot of lads were killed, hung, and then they wrote a new one, and then they made a deal with the English. So like there's a lot of betrayal in Ireland. I think it's one of the reasons like that, when you have that and the Roman Catholic Church like raping all the kids and doing all this mad shit and all, like, and telling us, and then the Brits telling us that we can't even speak our own language, like um the Irish have been through a lot, and like not over thousands of years. In the last like 1,000 years, in the last several hundred years, the Irish have really been through a lot. So like we're really tough, and we've a really good sense of humor, but we're very atomized. There's very little unity. But there's a referendum for unity uh, coming up. We don't know when, but one will, the
criteria has been met for a referendum on unity between the North and the South. And basically, your man Jamie, from what he's learned through his self-education in all of these legal matters and what this actually means, and what the citizens of Ireland versus the people of Ireland, and the constitution isn't actually a constitution, because Bunreacht na hÉireann directly translates to Irish basic law, not the Irish constitution. So it doesn't. It's not what it says it is in so many different ways. Um, like he raised a lot of really good points that I found. Like, there was times where I was like, oh yeah, I didn't know that. That's fascinating. But at the same time, like I kind of assumed as much. Like he asked the whole room. He was like, who thinks you have rights here in Ireland? Who here thinks that you have like rights? And like three people put their hands up, because the rest of us were like, we obviously don't have rights. You know, we obviously don't have rights, because if we had rights, the fucking country wouldn't be as bad as it was. We'd still like be an armed population. Like every family would have a gun. Like every family would have land. Every family would have like there wouldn't be this shite of like immigrants and foreigners getting more than the Irish people get from its own government. Like, none of that would be happening if we actually had a fucking proper constitution, like, and a fucking Bill of Rights, and we actually had enforceable rights, like, And the reality is that we don't, like, and that's why, like, when it comes to the corporate mainstream media representation of what Ireland is, it's a bunch of wizard gremlins. Like, they have nothing to do with the Irish people. Like, from what I've heard, it's very similar in Italy, where like it literally is like the top of the pyramid is just separated from the rest of the pyramid to such a degree that like it's basically two different societies living on the same island, where you have all the people that actually maintain the island and actually work and actually do all the stuff and actually keep the fucking house running and the machine oiled and like capable of actually fucking doing what it needs to do. And then you have all the bureaucrats and the red tapers that just sip tea, send emails, and go to orgy parties and shit. Like they're just living high on the hog while the rest of us all fucking struggle, like, And every time there's like some kind of like, oh, we're gonna vote on abortion, or we're gonna vote on this, like, all they ever present us with is yay or nay. They never turn around. They never actually ask the people. Like, we're never involved in what happens. It's always just like, so yeah, yes or no. They just ask the public a question, and the public go, no, or yeah. And back in, I think it was 2016 or 2014 or something like that, there was this thing called the Lisbon Treaty. And like the whole country was like, no. And then the government was like, sorry, vote again. like right there, that like it's not what it's supposed to be, like, But anyway, fucking it's all really interesting, and like I'm getting more involved in stuff like this, and like I'm trying to educate myself on these things now, because like the term your man Jamie was using is effective participation, which is it's a pretty good move, because it's not just like another political party trying to make a lot of promises that turn out to be lies. It's a bunch of people who have been fucked over in various ways and are ignorant of how all of this works. So, but it's a lot. It's like it's basic. When you like start up a new video game, or like you're fucking subscribing to a new thing, and it's the terms and conditions, and it's like fucking pages and pages and pages and pages of bullshit that's like Black Law's dictionary terminology, and like the claimant, the user, and all this fucking shit. Like, you are subject to this and blah 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 blah. Nobody reads that. And like they know that. That's why they overwhelm you with information, because they know that most people are just gonna look at that and go, oh well, I'm sure everything in that is what it should be. I'm sure they're not fucking me over, selling my soul. Like, it's like the Jewish stereotype thing of like, you didn't read the fine print, like, do you know what I mean? And it's a sobering reality for people to come to, when it's like, it's our fault. It's actually like, you cannot blame them, because it's our laziness, ignorance, um, but also our trusting nature. So it's like our naivety and gullibility, um, and our, like, obviously our the betrayal of our forefathers and stuff like that. So there's a lot of factors, but that's what it is. It's not they're the bad guys and they're doing it to us. It's the sin of the father, and then your own sins. And a lot of people aren't willing to look themselves in the mirror and go, fuck, I fucked up. I was wrong. I need to change. I have a lot of work to do. And I know what that feels like, as someone that like wanted to hang himself, and like his family was in a bad situation and shit and all like that. Like, I know what it feels like to like look yourself in the mirror and go, you're part of the problem. You can't just blame your parents. You can't just blame the government. You can't just like blame the people that lied to you and betrayed to you. Like, um, you have to become, the butterfly. As the caterpillar, you have to like willingly enter the cocoon and completely transform into a new being, and essentially let your old self die. And it's all this like, philosophical shit and so on and so forth, and it's all fascinating in various ways. But it's so much of a gap to cover in a short space of time, that, like I was saying, with like physically and mentally, it's incredibly draining. So one of the things I said to your man Jamie, the president, the guy who was presenting the thing, um, it's so important to like. It's really true that your health is your wealth. You know, like your emotional and mental and physical discipline is incredibly important. You need to stay like fit and healthy and of a positive mindset, because the work is such a grind and so frustrating and tedious, that like that's why they call it a grind. Like it can slowly just suck the life out of you. Um, but it's almost like a blessing in disguise, where it looks like one, an impossible task, two, something that it's like, you know well, they're a bunch of lying hypocrites and cheaters and traitors and all this shit. Like, they should all be hanged. Why can't we just pull them out and hang them? Like, and then you look at the French Revolution, it's like it just doesn't work that way. Like, you're not gonna get the result you desire. Um, but it's like, it's very daunting, you know, even for somebody like me who like enjoys a challenge and has a gamer's like mindset, where it's like, sure, this is frustrating, but like you have that like inner confidence of like, no, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna defeat this boss and stuff like that. Like, so even for people like me who are like confident and outspoken and all these fucking things, courageous, like low fear response, blah 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 blah, it's fucking fatiguing and it's daunting. So imagine what weak people are like. Imagine what like weak, scared people are like. There's almost like no hope for half of them, like, especially the ones that are still totally like the boomer generation and the older ones that are totally bought, still to this day, watching mainstream news and media and believing all of it, believing every single fucking word of it. Like, so like we've a long, hard road ahead of us in many ways. Like, it's not gonna like uh change overnight and all this fucking shit, like, but like, not only do we have a long hard road ahead of us, stuff is getting more difficult and more sophisticated in its deceptive powers, and uh like life is getting like more unbearable in various ways, like by the day, like on the daily. Like, you're serious, it's like the Bible says, it's like you will hear rumors of wars and stories of wars and all this fucking shit. Like, people are dying, people are going crazy, like, we're in a bad way, like, so uh this is a conversation for a sit down and a few points. I know, yeah, I know. But you know what I'm like, I'm just saying what's on my mind. Like, this is current, like, this is what's on my mind, because
this is what I just experienced over the weekend, and it's also what I've been experiencing for months now. Like, you know, and I've got shit going on in my personal life as well. Like, not just with the fucking, not just with the community stuff, you know, but like stuff with the misses and shit and all. Like, and it's just like, it's one of the reasons why I'm so glad I have this stream with you guys and all, is I can just like, you know, and like obviously not just do that. I can still play music, be productive, and entertain you guys and all. Like, but everybody needs that. Everybody needs a space where they can be themselves in their wholeness. Do you know what I mean? Where you don't have to hold any airs or graces or any of these things. You don't have to, like, you know, oh, I better not say this because this person's gonna snap, and like, sure, that'll just cause a lot of drama. Or I better not, you know, be 100% honest, because if I'm 100% honest, like, you know, it's gonna get this response and stuff. It's like, you need people and a space that you can be 100% honest with and just be yourself around. And I know that's kind of like, well, duh, that's an obvious thing, you know, like, how is that not like, shouldn't everybody have that anyway? Like, that seems so, like, you know, natural and intrinsic and, like, you know, fucking obvious, like. But the truth is that we don't have that nowadays, you know. We don't have that nowadays because of all the fucking, the PC culture and all the fucking controversies and all the brainwashing of the the up and coming generations, who think everything is political and ideological and all this fucking shit. That it was one of the things that your man Jamie spoke about, and he's dead right. It's like, people, the way I've described it on this stream before as well. It's like, it's kind of, it's a bit scary how retarded and infantilized a lot of adults are. Like, grown ass men with, and women with, like, well-paying jobs, mortgages, and children, and all this fucking shit. Like, you would think they're like a functioning adult, but they're basically not even like they don't even have the mind of a teenager. They have the mind of a fucking 4-year-old. They are incapable of abstract thought. They are incapable of controlling their ego. They are incapable of, like, all of these things that are required to have this kind of discourse and this kind of understanding and comprehension of, like, how the world really works, what is really going on, and what you will really have to do if you want the life that you really desire. And it's a lot of work. That's a lot of work, you know. And I'm trying to do it in my own way with the art in the community and shit, by getting rid of, like, people's intrinsic fears of, like, you know, I can't do this, I'm not good, and, like, you know, I don't have a good eye, and all this bollocks like that. It's just all these, like, all these gates that quite often you put up in your own mind, you know. And it's all related to that early life trauma as a childhood, where, like, kids put up all these, like, walls in their head and in their heart. It's your spirits and your nervous system. It's your mind's, how it is. It's the immaterial response to immaterial predators. There's a material response to material predators, i.e., there's a fucking fox trying to get at me hands, pick up a rifle, shoot the fucker, hang his pelt on me wall, job done. But if you have an immaterial predator and you don't have the immaterial tools to fight that immaterial predator, well, then he's just going to fuck you up every time, you know? And you will get to a point where you feel like there's nothing you can do. So that's, I suppose, the way I would try and describe it is, people really need to develop their immaterial weapons to take on immaterial enemies, you know? And, like, that's basically just another way of saying what the Bible says, where it's like, you know, you know, it's not a battle of, like, it's not a war of, like, men and whatever. It's like a war of good and evil, and, like, it's inside you and all these things. Like, you know, it's like, we battle not against, you know, I can't remember what it is. Like, it's like, you know what I'm talking about. You know the quote, like. But anyway, I'm gonna fucking stop ranting because it's, like, been nearly an hour, and I start painting and playing tunes and shit, like. Fucking Westerners have mistaken niceness for kindness and have allowed a death by 1,000 cuts by making that one error. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely one of the factors, Ari. It's incredibly ironic, you know. It's like the Irish, like we're incredibly hospitable and trusting and like all these things, and somewhere along the line somebody figured out that that's the way to get to us, was to, like, you know, oh, these are really moral people. Well, how do we defeat really moral people? We'll use their morality against them by being a bunch of fucking hypocritical, deceiving, lying demon fucks, like, do you know what I mean? Which is like, I pity them. I pity them. Anyway, it's time to go. It's nearly 5 o'clock. I've been sitting here for an hour, so I'm going to do the phrase of the day, and then I'm going to start. I'm going to start the go. I didn't even look at this one, so I don't even know what today's phrase of the day is. With the help of my feathery friend Tobias Beakus Cross and the ding of my tiny donga, we will announce today's phrase of the day. I send cleansing vibrations through the interwebs to cleanse you of your dirty, filthy chi and allow it to flow freely. As we announce today's phrase of the day. Aloe vera sounds like an old English lady greeting her friend. That's actually hilarious. Aloe vera sounds like an old English lady greeting her friend. Oh, that's fucking funny. Aloe vera. That's a good phrase, man. Some of these are so good, I'm like, where are you getting these from? Or is it actually you? Right. That concludes today's phrase of the day, and we now begin the go. Oh, jeez. Sumimasa. Right. Someone should clip phrase of the day. You do it. I completely agree, though. I completely agree. Right.
Colors drip, they slide, they fall. Coffee drank, now fuel for more. My hands are messy, my mind's a zoo. Painting goo. Paint goo. Painting goo. Painting me. Painting you. Sip, sip. Rat, rat. Paint goo. Painting goo. Drip, they fall. Canvas screaming, let's paint them all. A smear of smudge, a masterpiece too. Painting goo. It's in all booms, it's lavish too. Characters rushed with light. No rules, no plan,
have no clue how to make clips. I would otherwise. I should probably get around to just doing it myself. I haven't uploaded to Rumble in months, so I should probably just do it myself. I have fuck all like time throughout the day though, in between the things that I do. Like, you know what I mean? Just need to make time. Just need to make more time. Right, we'll check out the new tunes. Wo ist the new tunes? Well, not wo. What? What? Was is the new tunes? Dead meat. Okay, here we go.
In the hush of a green cathedral, where moss climbs the bones of time, he lies where the battle forgot him, steel still singing in his spine.
Nice. Fucking bars.
Spears bloom from his chest like branches. Swords sleep deep in rotting silk. No banner left to remember. Only blood returning to soil and silt. His name dissolves in the insects. Armor split, breathing rust. A warrior stilled by history. Now meat and iron and dust. Shindaniku, Mori no Naka, dead flesh feeding emerald ground. Kazegayu, Owarida, the wind says, this is over now. Shindaniku, monument of bone. Left alone where the forests grow. Rust remembers what men let go. Ants march through the gaps of honor. Roots pull rank from shattered pride. The earth promotes him quietly. From samurai to sacrifice. Black appeals like fading odors. Clan and code reduced to ore. Every breath the forest takes files him further from war. Helm half buried, face to heaven, jaw unlocked, oath unspoken. Time unsheathes its patient blade and finishes what men left broken. Shindaniku, Kusani Kae. flesh sinks through leaves. Senso ayume, chiwame. War is a dream, blood is rain. Shindaniku, listen close. The forest wears him like a ghost. A monument no empire chose.
That was really cool. That was like half of it. Like it's like a hybrid between a song and a haiku,
Hush of a green cathedral,
like a song and a poem.
where moss climbs the bones of time. He lies where the battle forgot him.
So this is version 2.
Steel still singing in his spine.
Steel still singing in his spine is fucking class.
Spears bloom from his chest like branches. Swords sleep deep in rotting silk. No banner left to remember. Only blood returning to soil and silt. His name dissolves in the insects. Armor split, breathing rust. A warrior stilled by history. Now meat and iron.
Oh shit, fucking you had your wisdom teeth out? That sucks, man. Was there no way to save them?
Indaniku mori no naka. Dead flesh feeding emerald ground. Kaze ga yu owarida. The wind says this is over now. Shindaniku monument of bone. Left alone where the forests grow. Russ remembers what men let go. Hands march through the gaps of honor. Roots pull rank from shattered pride. The earth promotes him quietly. From samurai to sacrifice. Lack appeals like fading orders. Clan and code reduced to order. Every breath the forest takes files him further from war. Helm half buried, face to heaven, jaw unlocked, oath unspoken. Time unsheathes its patient blade and finishes what men left broken. Shindani kukusani kaeru. Dead flesh returns to grass. Tetsu wasabiru kyoku wa kieru. Iron rests.
Yeah, dentists are fucking. Oh man.
Shindani no prayers remain.
It's the same with everything else though.
Only rain, tap and steel in vain. A battle lost 2 years.
Same with everything else.
Rain,
Schools that do not teach.
no victory,
Trees that bear no fruit.
no witness, no song until now. Just I unlearning how to become earth. Shindani kumori no koe. Dead flesh sings through leaves. Senso ayume, chiwame. War is a dream, blood is rain. Shindaniku, listen close. The forest wears him like a ghost. A monument, no empire chose.
I like those. Those are really cool. They're pure chill, and like some of the fucking lines in them are like really cool. Steel still singing in his spine. Like that's class. I really like that one. Bit of Nematode, what? Get that chill vibe going. Oh.
It's in the soul, secrets hide. A little splash, those can fight. Leaves grow green, reaching wide. It's magic, it's science, it's nature's art. From the forest floor to a gardener's heart. Wood vinegar, healing leaves and chasing scars. Wood vinegar makes the earth one with the stars. Keeps the past from calling home. Helps the compost break its through. Plants are singing, we're not alone. A smoky breath from trees gone by, whispering hope to seeds that try. Wood vinegar, healing leaves and chasing scars. Wood vinegar makes the earth one with the stars. Smokes.
I had to have mine removed because they were coming in jagged. Ugh. The joy that is the genetic lottery of the mixed breed shit.
He's the turning man, the keeper of decay, brewing light from death in his secret clay, whispering to worms, calling spores to rise. He's the turning man with the spectral eyes. Temperatures rise in his steaming heaps. He watches them breathe, he listens, he keeps a cauldron of compost, of which his brood grows from the rot only he ever knew. Turning it over, the circles begun. Feeding the dark till it bursts the He's the turning man, keeper of decay, brewing light from death in his secret clay, whispering to worms, calling spores to rise. He's the turning man with his spectral He walks in a mist where no footsteps fall. A shadow of a shadow's no face at all. Fungal fingers weave through his veins. Every breath he takes smells like rain. Smells like rain. Turning over and over and I'm a crop in a cage, sterile field, measured sage. Hands on me, 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 hands on me. Dose after dose just to breathe. Glyphosate, glyphosate, glyphosate. They feed me chemicals, call it keeping me alive. But the soil is numb, and I can't feel the sky. Everything's controlled, everything's restrained. They say it's healing, but I feel the chain. Receded, torn and medicated, barren yet cultivated, gated, overregulated. growing, I'm complying, roots dissolving, but still surviving. This isn't living, it's maintaining. I am the product, you're sustaining. I can't escape the doors, I can't escape the doors, I can't escape.
Not a fucking kitchen roll. It is what it is.
Isolated. Repossessed. Medicated. Medicated. One foot on the brake, gas pushed to the floor. So pumped in my veins, keep demanding me more. Glyphosated. 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 A perfect place, a perfect home, a simple seal upon the dome. Equal sugar, equal flesh, here them breeding and feasting on death. I can feel the squeeze, one amongst the feet. 10 billion mashing teeth turn the skin to meat. Osmotic release. How sweet the taste, how sweet the smell, the perfect mix to break your cells. Pull the water from deep within, release nutrients for us to begin. I can feel the squeeze, one amongst the feet. 10 billion mashing teeth turn the skin to meat. Osmotic release. after generation, maceration, purification. The sweet release, sweet release. Tangle, strangle, callous, dry, torn up, used up, poison, lies. Did you break ground or just tear me apart? Bring life back to my heart. Cover crop, cover me, hold me tight, lay me down, out of sight. Feed the unseen, deep below, layer by layer, generations grow, cover crop. My breath, a sweet song unsung. I feel it shifting. Life is just begun. Rooted in promises, each sprout a thread, a tapestry of life that will never end. Don't let the storm strip me bare. The family we build will anchor us there. Cover crop, cover me, hold me tight, lay me down, out of sight. Feed the unseen, keep below, layer by layer, generations grow. So cover crop, so cover crop. Cover crop, chop. Black road, white thread, exchange. Nothing said. I call razor. I call razor. Symbiote. automatic, we're provided. I spiral out of held me down. I'll trade you sugar for your minerals. Hold me tight, your high feet crawl. I'll shine the light, we're provided all. My core rains shine the light, we're provided your shadows wash away. We fall into the ground. All the soil becomes our skin. We're provided everything. I woke a morning with jars of care. Life in my hands and the soil to share. White threads weaving through a forest of black. A dance of the small things bring fertility back. Collect the life, let it thrive, spread it out, multiply. I am all. The earth's on fire, feeding roots, sparking fire. Rise in the box left under the trees. Bacteria feast, they do as they please. A snowy coat, a white sea breeze. Nature's recipe, nature's ease. Collect the life, let it thrive, spread it out, multiply. I am the earth's on fire, feed the earth, sparking life and soil, the breath of decay, a whisper of fungi, they lead the way. Micro worlds rise like a secret hymn, a symphony sung on the forest wind. Stir it slowly, alchemy flows. Grateful hands where the wild things grow. Mix the life with the earth below. I'm all it knows, it knows. Collect the life, let it thrive, spread it out, multiply. I'm the earth's on fire, feeding roots, sparking It's a recipe written in the stars and the ground. A magic circle where life spins round. Life in water, vinegar and care. We become the earth. We become the earth. We become the earth.
The last one. Man, I fucking love that playlist. So chill. The vibe off of that one is very good. Okay. Some matter. It is Monday, isn't it? I'm not even keeping track anymore. Why would you? Do, 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 do.
Dust in the wind, it clogs my veins. Footsteps sinking through, nothing remains. Every breath, one more I wage against decay, against the play. War runs yet never scrape the grime, must and die.
Yes, es ist sehr gut, ja. This song's hilarious.
Swim, swim, run, run, bike, bike, more bike. To crush is my goal, to slay the mountain top, never to stop. I am becoming a man. To crush is my goal, to beat the pavement raw. With blood in my socks, I am becoming a man. Grow food, sell home, more home, climb the mountain tops. Watch bear, shed weakness, strong mind, stronger heart. Swim, swim, run, run, bike, bike, more bike. Swim, swim, run, run, bike, bike, more bike. To crush is my goal, to slay the mountain top, never to stop. I am become Iron Man. To crush is my goal, to beat the pavement raw. With blood in my socks, I am become Iron Man.
Swim, run, run.
Ride bike, more bike.
Right, my beloved Japanita, that is all I have time for today. I must bid thee farewell. Be good, be true, and be beautiful. I will see you again tomorrow, same timer. Same pricer? Same timer? What day is tomorrow? Tuesday? Is there anything happening tomorrow? Yeah, same timer, same pricer. Right, see you then. God bless, be good, be true, be beautiful. And pay for painting you, you filthy mortar scum. Hmm? Oi.